Hey, welcome to the 2017 RFW Championship Series map pool quick looks for each of the 7 maps we will be using this year. Today we have Twisted Ruins, a map made by ZZRules21. At a first glance, you can notice that this map's layout is different compared to the other maps in the pool. This map is rotationally symmetric as opposed to the standard symmetrical RFW map, but don't let that aspect scare you. This map is no different from the other maps in the pool. The map starts out with a split spawn drop. Going through the hole in the spawn pool leads to a small cave overlooking your opponent's resource dungeon, but it also contains some coal blocks and some basic supply chests. Back on the surface, there are a few key chests including ender pearls located in the double chest and in the chest on top of the second tree. These pearls are frequently used to sequence break and get to future sections of the map at the start of the match. Next we have a chasm, which is the first main choke point of the map. While the 2 ender pearls can be used to bypass the chasm at the start of the match, teams need to be able to cross the chasm throughout the entirety of the match. After crossing the chasm, we make our way to the first village. The houses have chests inside of them which contain various goodies ranging from basic supplies, to enchanted items, to attribute modifying items. Entering the first house takes you to the resource dungeon. Unlike most resource areas, these resources are dark, littered with hidden spawners, and filled with drops and branches, all while being exposed to PvP. These resources are tough and difficult to conquer. However, doing so will grant teams access to the best gear on the map, as well as access to an area that overlooks all 3 of the wool dungeons. Back on the surface, swimming to the center of the fountain will lead you to the first wool dungeon. This PvE wool is fairly standard. The mob-infested dungeon comes complete with hidden spawners and occasional exposure to the opposing team, but is not without rewards along the way. Completing the large execution room will give you a decent vantage point over the opposing team's resource dungeon, and access to the second cannon supplies chest. Completing the final room will give you a clear path to the magenta wool, as well as a pair of speed-increasing, health-increasing leather leggings. Heading back to the surface, once we pass the village, we make our way to the mountain. At the peak of the mountain, we have the Victory Monument, as well as a chest filled with bows and arrows, food, and an ender pearl. Underground, we have the secondary resource area. This cave is a good early game alternative to the main resource dungeon, as there are no spawners and minimum mob spawns. The cave has some iron blocks and a handful of diamond ore scattered around, as well as a potion supplies chest and a basic supplies chest. However, teams must act quickly because the chests and the iron blocks are both rigged with TNT and wooden buttons, which are susceptible to opposing arrow fire. Heading past the mountain, we come across the ruined village. The crumbling houses contain a few chests with supplies ranging from basic supplies to attribute modifying items to another ender pearl to some sweet, sweet tunes. Enter the first crumbling house and you will encounter the second wool. This wool is a PvP-centered wool that splits into 2 sections with a lever at the end that must be flipped. Each lever only needs to be flipped once to access the wool. Once both levers have been flipped, you can make your way back to the wool box where the button can be pushed to retrieve the light blue wool, as well as a speed-increasing, health-increasing leather tunic. In the last crumbling house, we can find the third wool. It starts off with a massive drop into cobwebs, which then leads to a lava-filled ruins. Players must traverse lava pools and fight off various mobs to complete the dungeon. Once players complete the final lava section, they are rewarded with the third yellow wool, as well as a speed-increasing, health-increasing, efficiency 10, unbreaking 10 diamond hoe. This has been a brief and quick look at Twisted Ruins. Click here to watch our previous map tour of Sylvan Cliffs by Subatomic Panda, or click here to go to the playlist containing all of the map tours for the 2017 RFW Championship Series. Stay tuned for a map tour of the next map.